In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on January 7th, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Phoenix Suns versus Memphis Grizzlies. The Suns are still missing Jalen Green in this write-up, while the Grizzlies have ruled out Ja Morant, Cedric Coward, John Conchar, and Brandon Clark among others. Phoenix comes into this matchup with a lot of momentum, even if Monday's loss in Houston stung a bit because that game was tight all the way. They were on a strong run before that heartbreaker, and even in that 100-97 loss, the Suns still rewarded bettors by covering as plus 8.5 underdogs. And they have now covered 3 straight and an impressive 9-1 against the spread in their past 10 outings. The schedule spot is not bad either. This is just the second stop on a quick 2-game swing through Houston and Memphis, so there is not much travel chaos to deal with. The good news from the Suns side is that they are relatively healthy in this analysis. Only Jalen Green, listed with a hamstring issue, and Jamari Bouye in concussion protocol are noted as out, and Bouye is a reserve. With their main core available, Phoenix has been playing sharp, focused basketball and has turned into a real cover king for bettors over the last few weeks. Memphis, on the other hand, is still grinding through a very different type of season. The Grizzlies just played on Tuesday and now have to turn around on the back end of a back-to-back, even if both games are at home. They did at least get to sleep in their own beds, since that 106-105 win over the Spurs was also at the Forum, and they cashed as 6-point underdogs while the under on 238.5 came through. Even so, they are only 2-3 against the spread in their past 5 games and 4-5 against the spread in their previous 9, which is hardly a hot streak. Memphis has strangely owned this series recently with 6 straight wins against the Suns, which might tempt some people to grab the points again. But context matters, and right now the Grizzlies are still framed as the most banged-up team in the league, while also being asked to play on zero rest. They are leaning heavily on players who normally would not be carrying this sort of load, and that is a tough way to face a confident, mostly healthy opponent. Phoenix is not only stacking wins, it has covered 9 of its last 10 and sits at a sparkling 24-10-2 against the spread on the season. That kind of sustained performance against the number is hard to fade casually. With the Suns in rhythm and Memphis in a rough scheduling and injury spot, it makes sense to keep riding the side that has been a cash machine rather than stepping in front of it. As our first pick for this matchup, the Phoenix Suns to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Phoenix has tightened things up on defense recently, but this particular matchup has usually leaned toward the high side. Memphis plays at one of the faster paces in the league, and when the Grizzlies do not get a day of rest, their defensive metrics tend to drop. Tired legs on defense often show up as late closeouts and soft paint protection, which is usually good news for scorers. The Suns have more than enough shooting to punish those cracks. Their spacing and perimeter threats can take advantage of the Grizzlies' lack of strong interior rim protection, so high value looks from outside and at the rim should both be on the table. In this write-up, there is also the idea that if Morant plays, the game can turn into a track meet because his style pushes tempo and adds even more offensive creation. Even without him, though, the overall shape points toward a lot of possessions and plenty of shots early in the clock. Their first meeting this season finished with 227 combined points, and both teams are described here as scoring at an even higher clip now. When you blend fast pace, shaky rest-based defense, and multiple offensive weapons on both sides, it is easy to see why a high-scoring affair feels like the most likely outcome. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Los Angeles Lakers versus San Antonio Spurs. The Lakers have again ruled out Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves, while the Spurs are once more without Devin Vassell. These teams already saw each other twice at Crypto.com Arena, splitting the mini-series, and now the scene shifts to Frost Bank Arena for the rubber match feel. Because both sides are on the back end of a back-to-back, you really have to keep an eye on the injury report, as either staff could decide to give a star or two a breather. That uncertainty hangs over the whole matchup, which is part of what makes the points so appealing. Even with that moving target, the week leans toward the Lakers. They are having a quietly solid stretch, playing more connected basketball and stacking some positive performances. San Antonio, meanwhile, is coming off 2 rough results and has cooled off after that big Christmas win over the Thunder. Since that holiday high, the Spurs are just 2-4 straight up, which tells you a lot about how hard it has been for them to sustain momentum. Historically, this matchup has tilted toward the underdog when it comes to the number. The dog has covered 6 of the last 9 meetings between the Lakers and Spurs, which suggests that the gap on the scoreboard tends to stay tighter than the market sometimes expects. Obviously, knowing whether LeBron suits up would make life easier, no one is pretending that does not matter. But even baking in that uncertainty, the combination of recent form, the back-to-back spot, and the history of close margins makes grabbing the points with the Lakers a very reasonable call. As our first pick for this matchup, the Los Angeles Lakers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full-game side pick. Neither side is particularly obsessed with the three-point line. Both teams are much happier attacking the paint, drawing contact, and living at the stripe. The Lakers lead the league in two-point percentage at 61.1% and in free throw rate at .343, so when they get downhill, they do real damage. The Spurs are not far behind in that style. They rank 5th in two-point percentage at 56.9% and 7th in free throw rate at .296, which means they are also good at getting high percentage looks and forcing whistles. That kind of shared approach usually creates a steady stream of drives, fouls, and free throws, all of which keep the scoreboard ticking. On defense, the Lakers have real issues. They sit 26th in two-point percentage allowed at 56.7% and 29th in three-point percentage allowed at 37.7%. So even if San Antonio is not bombing from deep, it can still find seams inside and punish those soft spots. The Spurs are much stronger by comparison in those defensive categories, but slowing down a team that lives in the paint and at the line is still a big ask, especially when that team is as efficient inside as the Lakers. Put together, you have 2 attacks that prefer high percentage zones, 2 groups that get to the line often, and 1 defense in particular that has struggled to contain anything. That is a recipe that points more toward a game with plenty of scoring swings than a slow, low-scoring grind. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston Rockets versus Portland Trail Blazers. The Rockets are still listed without Fred VanVleet, Alperen Sengun, and Isaiah Crawford, while the Trail Blazers have once again ruled out Jrue Holiday, Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson, and Matisse Thybulle. So on paper, both benches are a little thinner, but the vibe around these 2 groups is very different right now. Houston is starting to warm up again. They just pulled off a dramatic comeback win over the Suns on Monday, with Kevin Durant on the other side doing everything he could, and that kind of game can really juice a young team's confidence. Now they walk into a matchup with Portland, a team that has also looked sharp over the last couple of weeks rather than just rolling over like an early season doormat. These teams last saw each other on November 12th in the NBA Cup, and that one was all Rockets in a 140-116 blowout. So yes, Houston is the better team on paper and healthier in the context of this write-up, and another comfortable win would not exactly qualify as a shock. But here is the thing, these young Blazers are stubborn. They stay in games, they compete, and they have quietly won 5 of their last 6 outings, which is not something many people expected to say about Portland this season. There are long stretches where it really does look like they are figuring things out, possession by possession. From a betting angle, Portland has been friendly to backers. They sit at a profitable 21-16 against the spread this season, and that includes 7 covers in their last 9. So while the market still treats the Rockets as the clear superior side, this line is not giving the Blazers as much credit as their recent form deserves. That gap between perception and performance is exactly where the value sneaks in. As our first pick for this matchup, the Portland Trail Blazers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Houston Rockets are averaging 120 points on 49% shooting and allowing 111.4 points on 46.6% shooting. They are knocking down 39.3% of their threes and hitting 78% at the free throw line. On the defensive side of the arc, they are allowing 35.8% shooting from deep and hauling in 48.8 rebounds per game, which fuels extra possessions and quick runouts. The Portland Trail Blazers are averaging 116.3 points on 44.6% shooting while giving up 119.7 points on 47.5% shooting. They are at 34% from beyond the arc and 77.1% from the stripe. Defensively, they also allow 35.8% shooting from deep and collect 45.6 rebounds per game. So you end up with one team that scores efficiently and defends well enough but still plays in high-scoring environments, and another that both scores and gives up plenty. Both sides have enough shooting and free throws in their profile to keep the total climbing. With those offensive averages and the overlapping three-point and rebounding numbers, it is easy to picture long stretches where neither defense gets many stops in a row. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Milwaukee Bucks versus Golden State Warriors. The Bucks are basically at full strength here, with only Taurean Prince listed out for this one. The Warriors are without Seth Curry, and they have Draymond Green and Gary Payton II both tagged as questionable, which clouds their rotation a bit. Milwaukee has not had a perfect season by any stretch, but right now they are healthy and riding into this matchup with some real winning momentum. You could say something similar about Golden State, since the Warriors were playing decent ball before that narrow loss on Monday, so both teams arrived with a bit of confidence. It is genuinely tough to separate them on pure form, which is why this sets up like one of those games that could stay tight for most of the night. Here is where the betting angle gets interesting. The Warriors have been wrestling with consistency issues all year, and that makes them hard to trust when they are the ones laying points, especially with Payton and Draymond sitting in the questionable bucket. The Bucks, on the other hand, have taken 4 of their last 5 games, with a very motivated Antetokounmpo driving everything on both ends. Golden State has failed to cover in 7 of its last 10 outings and sits at 15 to 21 to 1 against the spread on the season, which is hardly the profile you want from a favorite. Honestly, it is tough to get excited about backing the Warriors in that role when the opponent has that kind of star power and current form. It would not surprise anyone if Milwaukee won this one outright, so taking the points with the Bucks feels like the sensible side of the argument. As our first pick for this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Milwaukee Bucks are averaging 113.1 points on 48.5% shooting and allowing 115.9 points on 46.7% shooting. The Milwaukee Bucks are shooting 39.7% from beyond the arc and 73.1% from the free throw line. The Milwaukee Bucks are allowing 36.1% shooting from deep and are grabbing 40.4 rebounds per game. The Golden State Warriors are averaging 115.2 points on 45.5% shooting and allowing 113.9 points on 46.6% shooting. The Golden State Warriors are shooting 36.3% from beyond the arc and 81.9% from the free throw line. The Golden State Warriors are allowing 34.6% shooting from deep and are grabbing 43.6 rebounds per game. So you have 2 offenses that can clearly score, but neither side is running at a blistering offensive efficiency level in these numbers. Golden State's three-point shooting and free throw percentage are strong, but their overall field goal mark is more modest, which can slow down scoring when shots do not fall early. Milwaukee is very accurate from the field and from deep, but that 73.1% from the line leaves some points on the table in games where whistles come often. Defensively, both teams allow manageable three-point percentages, and the rebounding numbers suggest there will be plenty of one-and-done possessions instead of endless second chances. If this game tilts into a more half-court, shot-quality battle instead of a full-on track meet, those small inefficiencies, free throw misses, and controlled boards can all work together to cap the final total. In that kind of script, the score can still feel competitive and entertaining while the combined number sneaks in under a higher projection. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.